Hey everybody, what's going on? George, the Disney Italiano, with Abby, coming to you from, yes, once again, Walt Disney World. We are back here, but we're not staying at Disney's All-Star Music this time. We're at All-Star Movies, which we'll get into it a little bit of like why we are here. Um, but yeah, we wanted to do a live regardless, kind of recap our cruise experience, me being back on the Disney Magic after 9 years, Abby's very first Disney cruise. So we'll get into that a little bit. And also kind of going over some of the Disney news that dropped while we were away at sea, just to kind of, just sum it up, not get into full detail, but maybe just talk a little bit about some of the news, what, my personal feelings on it, and then also taking your questions and having some in-depth conversation. So I want to welcome in Matthew Murr, all the way from the UK. And before we get to the questions, I'm going to start off with, again, why we are still in Florida. So at the time this morning when we docked back in Port Canaveral, we didn't buy any of the internet package. It was just way too expensive. And so we decided to forego. Plus, being on a cruise, we don't want to be on our phones. We don't want to, we just want to enjoy the moment. But when we came back to Port Canaveral, we got our internet back on. So at the time we were supposed to leave today, we were literally going to go from the ship to a shuttle to the airport. Now, for everyone that knows that you're allowed to check in 24 hours to the hour of your flight for the next day. But since we were at sea, I didn't have no internet, couldn't check in. So by the time I did check in, it was late. And we basically ended up in category C, which is the last letter out of A, B, and C. And we had two totally different numbers, so we wouldn't even been sitting with each other because we flew Southwest, and as of right now, it's still open seating. So it's kind of like a first come, first serve basis. I didn't really want to do that. I don't care. I don't mind like who I sit next to if I'm going like solo or what have you. But if I'm going with Abby, I want to sit with Abby, and she gets anxiety, on the plane as is. So to be sitting next to strangers, almost like guaranteed, that's not a good thing. So I immediately went on my phone and I thought, okay, how can I fix this? So we had extra airline points and like credits that we used to move the flight. That was easy. And then I thought, well, we already paid for the shuttle. The shuttle could either take us to the airport or to Walt Disney World. I asked, pulled some strings. We were able to go back to Walt Disney World with no additional charge. And then I said to myself, well, we need a room. So ended up booking All-Star Movies on the fly. Didn't know how many days we were going to stay, though, but the cheapest it ran to also for the flight was to Saturday. So we are here in Florida for an extra 3 nights.
Yes.
Twist my arm, folks. So again, just wanted to bring that up. Also, number 2, as far as I said, as far as the cruise go, again, I absolutely love cruising, especially Disney. I only sail with Disney. I don't. People try to say, would you eventually go? Maybe if someone buys me something, I'd be willing to. But I don't know. Like for me, I don't know. Like I just can't foresee myself paying or going through the process of another cruise line other than Disney. This one marked my 10th. So the next Disney cruise we take, I will officially be platinum. Yeah. Abby, the next one will officially be silver because you automatically become silver after your first cruise. And I was very curious to see if she would get bit by the Disney cruise bug because she's been on other cruises before, but this was her first Disney one. So, so what were your overall thoughts with it? Like literally like stepping onto the ship, your first impression, like for you?
I really liked it. I thought that, like the misconception is that you're going to get slapped with a bunch of everything Disney, and like only kids can really enjoy it. But no, there were a lot of subtle things about the Disney that you can get. Plus, there were adult sections that has like Disney in like in little areas, but then not fully in your face like some people thought. And same thing about, I know that one of my coworkers was saying like, is it gonna just be a bunch of like theme park food? So like burgers, chicken nuggets, and all that. But no, the food was excellent. And then the parts of Disney that were there were was really cool. Just like being able to meet like characters. Like I met Stitch, and he stayed out for a good almost 2 hours because they only brought him out twice that day. And usually in the parks they only stay out for maybe 30 minutes. But no, like I was the last one in line for the first meeting, and he stayed out for almost the 2 full hours until everyone was done and did all the pictures and all the things like that. One of the little girls in front of me, their family was like, this was the most like she was able to get like her photo our autograph book done because she's able to meet so many characters. So I like that part. And the shows, oh my gosh, they were like amazing. Like they were like Broadway production shows, which I wasn't used to from other cruises. Like I've done other cruises and they have like specialty, like sometimes like an artist come, or like they did have a magician the first night.
The magician was the first night. It like I enjoy like those kind of like in between kind of shows. Like they like to fill in the gaps. They usually have 3 big signature Broadway style shows per ship per cruise. Depending on what ship you're on, you'll get a different set of 3. But like if you're on an extended cruise, like if you're on a 7-night or a 10-night or what have you, they have like the in between shows. So they could have maybe like a magician or an illusionist or a hypnosis or a ventriloquist. So they add like extra things in there, which they're nice, they're okay. But I mean, it was our first night, and it was just like, okay, we want to get settled in.
Yeah.
I don't really care to see a magician right now, So, but I'm for sure he was great, But the 3 shows were Tangled the Musical, Dreams, Disney Dreams, and then the Twice Charmed, Twisted Tale on the Cinderella story, which we were informed that there was actually a special guest Broadway performer. I forget her actual name, but she played Lady Tremaine in Twice Charmed and Mother Gothel in Tangled the Musical. And after they made that announcement, I could kind of see that because she definitely had a set of pipes on her. So she is definitely like well trained in the arts. She is a seasoned Broadway performer. And I thought that was really cool because usually they use their own entertainment performers. So the fact that they invited a Broadway star, onto the ship to perform in a few of their musicals, I thought was really cool.
And then I really liked the cast members on there. They're all so nice. They are willing to talk to you, get to know you, and they're also just like, I like them even better than the ones at the park sometimes, because like the ones that served us, they knew our names, they knew our regular drink order after just the second night. They already knew, like, even if I went to the other restaurants, they knew my allergies already, so they didn't need to ask me again. They also want to make sure that I wasn't going to get allergic to anything when the server did not know me. So I thought that was really nice. And then, just everyone on the ship, they are like, you can just talk to like other people on there. Just everyone's so like friendly, ready to just be in the Disney bubble. kind of thing.
Yeah. And yeah, everyone's usually always so kind, like even down to the other guests, you know. The cast and the crew, you know, they really tend to your needs. They get to know you just as much as you get to know them. The housekeeping, you know, basically you could live like a slob and they'll take care of you. They'll pick up after you, and you know, they won't have a bad thing to say. They do it with a smile. So, you know, that's definitely good customer service on Disney's part. My one little hiccup for me, I think, of anybody that's on the ship, was one particular guest that thought that I don't know, like she thought that she had like the red carpet, like break open the champagne bottles or something, because you cannot reserve seats. You cannot hold seats in the theater for the shows. This woman literally tried to block out an entire row that her family wasn't even there yet. And a whole entire row, and I kid you not, she was putting popcorn buckets and sippy cups and everything to kind of block off. And that was the row that we were picking. And I'm thinking, oh, hell no. So we just...
They tell us don't.
Yeah, they told us not to. So we just plopped our asses down where we wanted to sit. So we put a little jink in her chain. She wasn't too happy about it, but oh well. So anyway, that's the only thing that was just a little hiccup, but that was a disgruntled guess that she thought her shit didn't stink. But in any case, 10 out of 10 for me for the cruise.
I actually liked Castaway Key better than Lookout Key, just because of me with the walking in Lookout Key.
Well, and I think it's
and the setup.
The setup, yeah. I think the setup was, I get what they were trying to do, but
the beach is beautiful.
It is. The beach is very beautiful. The water
nice.
is very clear,
yes.
crystal blue. The problem is they have like these docks, sort of, that well, here's the thing, they don't connect. That's the problem. And you have to kind of
like
you have to configure, yeah, like which dock goes to
whatever.
what. You have a dock that goes to the restrooms. You have a dock that goes to the food. You have a dock that reaches the beach, and it's just like, you know, it's crazy. Now, a lot of people say, you know, it was an inconvenience with the long 10-minute walk off the ship to the beach. Now, for Abby, it was just because she's not used to a lot of like heavy duty walking, and especially in Florida/Bahama heat. She's not used to that. She's only used to Cali heat. But I think it's a good cause to the fact of why they did that, because they wanted to preserve the ecosystem of the coral reef that's surrounding the island, not to invade the habitats of sea life and all that. So I commend Disney on that. So that I can understand, but I can also understand the frustration that if you have little ones or if you have people with disabilities, of how that could be kind of a long stretch. But yeah, as I said, overall, the cruise for me, 10 out of 10.
Yes.
Yeah. And I asked her, I said, so does this mean you would want to do another one?
And we're doing another one anyways.
You were doing another one anyways. But yeah, she even said that she actually would prefer it over the parks, primarily Walt Disney World. Now, that's another whole story. It's, again, from what I've taken, she enjoys Walt Disney World, but it has to be spaced out. Everything can't just be
like how we did it the last 4 days before a cruise, back to back to back to back parks. I'm not used to that.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. I'm going to catch up on some of the chat. We will be getting to any questions. So if you guys want to put the questions in, you can. We'll do that as the kind of like the last segment. We'll go through the questions. Let's see. We got Epic Berserker. Hello, George and Abby. Feels like forever since we've seen you both. Thought you bought a cabana permanently on Castaway. Don't tempt me. You never know with me. Lucas and Disney, hello from Best Buy, sitting outside for midnight launch for Switch 2.
Ooh.
In person, in line out of 50 people at the moment. Good luck, Lucas.
Good luck. I do not miss those days.
Let's see. Giant Pierce Show, I don't know if I asked you guys, but did Abby have the cheeseburger bow at Animal Kingdom? Not yet, but we're going tomorrow.
Yes.
And she is going to try it.
Yes.
Let's see. It's been drizzling for the past week in California. Oh, wow. And Lucas says, did you steal our weather? That's funny. See, imagine how humid weather moved to California because of George, and California weather went to New York instead of. Okay. Let's see. I usually break it up with springs. Let's see. Oh, he needs to hear your reaction to it. Definitely. Yes. So the next time we do a live or a pre-recorded video, she'll definitely give her thoughts on it. We're going to try to do a live tomorrow, depending on how much we get done, because we didn't really get anything done for our first Animal Kingdom day. So this is actually our redemption day tomorrow.
Yes. Because, like I said, I usually space out the parks. The 2 times I've been to Florida before COVID, I would do 2 parks, rest day, and then another 2 parks or something like that. This one was back-to-back 3 Universal parks, and then trying to do back-to-back Disney parks. And Animal Kingdom, unfortunately, was our last park, and my battery was low, very low.
Yeah, so we're going to try to get as much done as we can tomorrow. And then if we still have time, because the park closes at 6 tomorrow, which it closed at 7 the last time. So we're losing an hour. So, yeah, so hopefully if we have enough time, we'll definitely do a live. And if we do a live, hopefully she'll have her cheeseburger bow, which she'll be able to discuss. We got Dragon Blood in the house. I see George and Abby fresh back from their voyage. Yes, we are back from our voyage, but we are still here in Florida. So
I know I had to call work and tell them I'm not going to be back to work yet.
Yep. So I'm going to bring this question up from Lucas and Disney only because this was the segment we were going to move into, was the Disney news while we were gone. And then we'll take all other questions. So don't worry, folks. We still are going to take questions. Lucas and Disney, what's your reaction on people overly being dramatic about Piston Peak and threatening to cancel their DVC and annual pass or even never return to Walt Disney World again? Okay. So before I answer your question, Lucas, I just want to just kind of give like the recap. So yeah, I started seeing notifications while I was on the cruise, but I couldn't open them. You know, saying that there was new concept art for the Cars area. They make, you know, the attraction is like a race rally. And there was a new piece of concept art that kind of goes into a little bit of extra detail of, you know, what it's all about. Well, today I was able to look at that piece of concept art. I think, honestly, the route that they're going with, I don't see a problem with it. It literally, it gives kind of like Frontier kind of blended in with Grizzly Peak. And my buddy Slimer, I believe, took to social media, and there's a section of that land that kind of resembles like paying tribute to Disneyland's Nature's Wonderland with the spinning rocks. I think that's really cool. They have a car that's designed like the park ranger from the Humphrey the Bear. That's genius. Like, and they're like,
I saw there were more water features to it. So.
Yeah, it looked like there was like a river like around. I don't know how much of that's going to be real or going to be, you know, but it definitely has a lot of natural organic feel to it. And they even said that there's going to be, you know, you're not going to see it from a far off distance. It's going to be like within its own little area. And it even has, it showed Big Thunder Mountain and Tiana's Bayou in the back. It even blended well there. Like it moved so well. Now, to get to your question, Lucas, here's the thing. You don't have to love it. You don't even have to like it. But the problem is that people get so overly triggered over something that's going into a theme park. Now, I get it. You have your personal connection to things. I do too. Actually, I'm very connected with Disney and everything. So there's certain things that I wouldn't want to change. I get that. I completely do. But the fact that you would kind of torture yourself in canceling your DVC or your annual pass just because of change, and everyone says that it's out of respect of Walt Disney to keep it. I think in a way it's kind of disrespectful to Walt because he didn't want a stagnant wax museum. He was all about change. He was all about progress. Mm-hmm. He wanted technology to evolve with the times. Yes, he did have his foot in the past, but he also had his foot in the future where they both complemented each other. You know, so that's my take on it. I don't see why people are like going that far, you know, about it. But hey, if they do, that's their own personal thing, you know. If anything, it'd be less crowds for me to stand in line. Let's see. I actually like Piston Peak. Yes, it is Piston Peak, which actually is funny because other good friend of the channel, Mr. Sam Chat, messaged me with a video clip. And it was, we were doing a show on Orange Grove 55. And it said, I actually say it, that I think that the land is going to be called Piston Peak. You can't make this up, folks. The proof is in the pudding. Disney just listens to me because I'm the Italiano. It's all about respect. I see. I'm overall more hyped for Cars more. Yeah, I think the fact that they're utilizing an IP that they already used, but in a different way, I'm fine with that. For me, I just didn't want to see it like a carbon copy.
Yeah, that was the big issue for me, was they're just going to move DCA's version and copy it. But seeing the new concept, I think it fits, or it fits better than just copycatting it.
Yeah. I already want to buy the Humphrey the Bear Park Ranger car. Now, I have a question for all of you now that I'm actually thinking about it. Speaking of carbon copies, with Grizzly Peak and Humphrey, well, the Park Ranger from Humphrey the Bear is already incorporated in that. And Cars Land is already in DCA. Could you potentially see Grizzly Peak getting an overlay? Again, I'm not putting it out there, folks, so I'm just saying, could they potentially expand the Cars universe in DCA and kind of give that wilderness look and bring it over to the West Coast? I doubt it. But if Disney wanted to utilize an IP, that might be the route. Because a lot of people were saying, too, that Pandora might go there. I personally don't see Pandora going in there because, again, a lot of people are saying, what is that going to do to the Grand Californian?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. If they add in that Cars area and even keep Grizzly River, but if they were to retheme the rapids to Cars, and the inner tube could be a tire, you know, I'm just throwing it out there, folks. Now, remember, if it happens, the proof is in the pudding. Let's see. Cars Land and Kanto. Oh, by the way, Kevin Davis, thank you. Welcome in. So sorry. Cars Land and Kanto, Indiana Jones rides will be a success. People don't like change at all. Yeah, absolutely. They don't. They don't like change. I don't have problem with change as long as it works. Mm-hmm. I see. Like for me, I didn't really care about Tom Sawyer Island and Magic Kingdom. I only took some pictures because of its closing. Yeah, see, and that's the same with me. Like I have a bigger connection with the Rivers of America and Tom Sawyer Island at Disneyland. It works.
Yeah.
It fits. That would be a controversial issue. Not really with Walt Disney World, in my opinion. Let's see. And then also too, a little piece of news as well, that speaking of Cars Land, that Radiator Springs Racers will be going down for a lengthy refurbishment. I think this is like the longest refurbishment it's going to be down for, as far as I know, that they're adding new lighting, new tech, and I'm cool with that. You know, I say go for it, but it does make me wonder that, you know, how many people are actually going to go to DCA, because that's like a major like attraction, and especially people who are buying just day tickets. I don't know if the day tickets are going to move for DCA.
No.
So I think up until Radiator Springs Racers reopens, I think DCA is going to be more so taken over by the Magic Key holders, for sure. And then also another piece of news, that it seems like there's some chatter that Josh D'Amaro may be in the pool sector of becoming the next CEO. So we'll have to wait and see. But also too, don't count Dana Walden just yet, because good friend of mine and part of the OG 55 crew, Alia. Shout out to Alia, by the way. You know, had some thoughts and opinions on it, and some theories. Now, I didn't really go through because I haven't talked to her about it yet, so I don't really want to quote of like exactly what she said, but I believe it's like somewhat of like making moves on Dana's part for the recent layoffs that's going to go on at the Walt Disney Company, primarily in like the casting and television, and kind of like a little bit of the behind the scenes thing. But I believe she said that it was it could potentially be moves on Dana's part. So I think like Dana and Josh are kind of like neck and neck, and they're like going like for, because they're hungry for it. They really want it.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that was just a little bit of the news. And now we'll get to the questions that everyone's been putting in. Giant Peter Show, are you guys going to the closing of Muppets? No, unfortunately, we're not. We'll actually be leaving the day of the last day.
But we did get to watch it.
We did, yes. Yeah, we're only doing Animal Kingdom, just as I said, for the redemption. Today we went to Disney Springs. We relaxed, had dinner. We're just chilling back at the hotel. And then the day after Animal Kingdom, I thought it'd be nice to kind of take Abby around and do some resort hopping, show her the different hotels, the Contemporary, the Grand Floridian, the Boardwalk, Yacht and Beach Club, you know, those, take her around there. Swan and Dolphin. Let's see. I'm going to work my way up here. And then I'll work my way back down. That's what she said. Let's see. All the way from the UK. Matthew Murr, why do you think all the Disney cruise ships built since 2011 are reserved exclusively for Caribbean voyages? I think it's because the Magic and Wonder can travel long distances more easily. Good question. Oh, and he continues, due to their smaller size. Yeah, there was a time where the Wonder was the only ship, even over the Magic, that can do the 14-night Panama Canal cruises, because the Wonder was the only ship that could fit through the Panama Canal. Sort of kind of how I wish that this kidney stone would pass through my urethra. But they since expanded the Panama Canal to fit the bigger ships, which is why I have a stent in me. So big things can pass through. Sorry, folks, I had to throw that in there. Sorry. But yeah, good question, Matthew. I think what they like to do is, I think with the newer ships, they kind of do like a rotation. So because where Port Canaveral is in Florida, that's where the Bahamian and Caribbean cruises reside, because it's coming out of Port Canaveral. For the newer ships, it's almost like they like to give that first run with the new ships because it's tied to a Walt Disney World vacation where people could do a land and sea. So the newer ships like to stay around in that area to give people a chance to be able to experience them. And then just like how the Magic and the Wonder, they'll move them to maybe New Zealand or Australia or the European cruises or the Hawaiian cruises, Alaskan. So in time, I think even with the newer ships that will be coming out, I think we're going to start slowly seeing the Dream and the Fantasy move out of Florida into different destinations that'll give the Treasure, the Destiny, and the 4 new ships some room to breathe, and then come in and they could start like rotating. Mm-hmm. I do hope that they do rotate. Like even I know that the Disney Adventure was made for Singapore, but I do hope like in time that maybe, they can kind of bring it to the States, for, maybe like a one-way, you get into, you get to somewhere in the US and it takes you to Singapore and then you fly back or what have you. That'd be kind of cool. I would love to experience the adventure. I mean, but if not, hey, I'll just go to Singapore, I'll be getting my passport soon if they delivered to the right address. Whole nother thing, folks. Before we started the live, I figured out that they sent it to God knows where. But yeah, they're gonna hear from me tomorrow. So if you guys feel any tremors, I'm on the phone. Let's see. Matthew Murr continues. I believe my rewrite of Once Upon a Studio and the existing version are 2 completely different vibes, whereas the existing short is more of a short and sweet tribute. Mine is more of a cinematic version. Let's see, which touches more upon the, am I saying this right? Gravitas, I'm not sure, and importance of the milestone. I do apologize, Matthew. And goes out with an even bigger emotional bang. What do you make of that comparison between the two? Yeah, I could definitely understand that. I think yours has more of a in-depth, like complexity to it, where you extended it. Where I feel like Disney
was trying to make it
just kind of like short and just kind of like get to the point, kind of thing. Like how could they fit all this in where it makes sense within a certain amount of time? Yeah. And that's the beauty part of it, that if you create your own version, the sky's the limit. You can use your imagination and do whatever you want with it. Okay, so now I'm going to kind of scroll all the way down here. Let's see. Oh, I think I'm passing stuff up here. Let's see. Okay. Kevin Davis, do you think the How to Train Your Dragon live action will draw families to the theaters like Lilo and Stitch? I do believe. I do. Yes. I feel like the live action How to Train Your Dragon is going to be the version of like Disney's Lilo and Stitch, which I heard today, I think it came from E! Entertainment, that there was like some backlash for the ending of Lilo and Stitch. Now, I don't want to give any spoilers, but there is some differences of the ending of the animated and the live action, primarily involving Nani. And I'll just leave it there because I don't want to do any spoilers. But to me, it still stayed true to the story. It's still, there are some differences, but again, I don't want to beat for beat. I felt like we got that with The Lion King, and it felt yeah. So it's like, again, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. It's like if they do beat for beat, Disney's not being creative. Okay, you tweak some things here and there. Oh my gosh, they're not staying to the original. It's like, what do you want from them?
I still think he was cute.
Yes, very good movie. I highly recommend it. for me, it is a theater movie for how simplistic it may sound.
I cried.
That you do at times, you may need some tissues. And I'm not, I mean, she cried twice. I didn't cry per se, but I definitely got a lump in my throat with certain parts of the movie, which I think that's what they wanted. So, kudos to Disney on that. Let's see. Dragon Blood. Imagine canceling your DVC and annual pass because of change. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't understand that. Let's see. Dragon Blood responding to Kevin. I personally think it will. I'm very excited to see it early. It's going to be movie of the year for me personally. Oh, for the How to Train Your Dragon. Yeah, definitely. Let's see. Giant Peter Show. Now, like Muppets, I could understand it's Jim Henson's last project, but at the same time, it's the video itself. Yeah, exactly. Like, I would expect Disney to do something to preserve the film. It was Jim Henson's last piece of work. He really wanted to be partnered with Disney as like one of his final wishes of selling the Muppets to Disney. And it was his last time, I believe, obviously portraying Kermit, so I mean, yeah, so you definitely want to preserve that. But again, you still have to have change, because if Muppet Vision 3D were to stay even 30 years down the road, how relevant is it really going to be? Unfortunately, I mean, I love the Muppets. It's cute, but I mean, wouldn't you want to see change? Wouldn't you want to see progress? Wouldn't you want to see something new? Because again, then people would then be bitching and complaining about saying, oh, how come we're spending money and day in and day out, we're going in and seeing the same thing? So again, at least Disney is preserving it. So yes, you're absolutely right, Dragon Blood. Or excuse me, Giant Peter Show. But Dragon Blood, you are right with How to Train Your Dragon. Epic Berserker, Iger reinstated your special access for going to WDW/DCL. Absolutely. Yes. And especially after the fact that I got refunded from Universal and put that money towards Disney.
Yes.
Yeah. Giant Peter Show, Scott Gustin tomorrow morning. Cars coming to Grizzly Peak. I swear to you all, if they make that announcement, you guys heard it here first on Citrico Central. That literally, I mean, so far I'm on a roll with this stuff. So, I mean, you never know. That's an interesting theory. It really is. And again, I'm not saying it for them to do it. I mean, they may do it. They may listen to me. They may be like, huh, that Italian really knows his stuff. But it just makes me wonder that Disney is all about IP. And if they really do change the DCA to Disney Cinematic Adventure, Grizzly Peak is going to be one of the last lands that really has nothing like interconnected with an IP. So, and again, you can't change too much of it, because then that kills the Grand Cali. But the more I saw the concept art of how this like kind of resembles Grizzly Peak, what if again it's a new variation of this new variation that again you keep Grizzly River Run, but maybe rework the mountain to look like something of Cars, and as I said, the inner tubes can be of tires or something, like I don't know, like to come up with something, and then again you can kind of still keep the character of the park ranger, but you're adding him into, and it ties in with Grand Cali. You have your IP. I don't know. They may. I'm not sure. I see Kevin Davis. If the rumors are true, about Disney picking Josh D'Amaro as potential CEO, Bob Iger still going to pulling the strings on the decision making until he steps down at the end of 2026. Yeah, and I think also too, even when he steps down, I have a feeling that he'll kind of stick around for a little bit, like as a backstage consultant, so to speak, sort of like a supposedly what he did with Chapek. I don't know how, but I feel like he's going to want to, he's not going to want to, he's going to have to do it right this time. Have the tire pay homage to our loved one, the dear old Luigi's Casa della Floating Tires. There you go. That's it. That's what it's going to be called. Luigi's Casa della Floating Tires. That's what it's going to be. Dragon Blood. I'm more curious about Matterhorn's lengthy refurb. Yeah, I was surprised, like, for the 70th that they closed it. I would have thought that if they were going to do a refurb, they would have closed it ahead of time to have it open for the 70th, unless maybe they're going to have it reopened for July 17th.
Maybe.
You know. Let's see, Dragon Blood. Them stupid grifters think the layoffs are going to be the end of the Walt Disney Company, I bet. It wouldn't surprise me, honestly. They'll take one little thing, twist it around, make it this big story. You know, it is what it is. And honestly, it's not. Yeah, and it's honestly not even really just Disney. I mean, Disney, like, there is like a community of people that just kind of like hunt Disney down for whatever they do. But I mean, it's basically when you're in the eye of social media and you know and stuff like that, people will find anything on you, about you, to try to ruin you. And again, if you want to be part of this space, you have to have thick skin and just brush it off. And you know, at times you call them out, you know, depending on what the situation is, but then you're just gonna have to move on. That's what I always like to do. It always makes me feel better, you know, just have my mouth run, say what my piece, and then I move on. A lot of people say like that doesn't like bother you. It's like, oh no, like I come from like upper northeast western Pennsylvania. I know that's like a big mouthful, but like I'm on the East Coast, north western Pennsylvania. I have the right to remain silent, but I don't have the ability. So let's see. Epic Berserker. If Josh or Dana, whichever doesn't get chosen, could we see... Wait, I'm sorry. If Josh or Dana, whichever doesn't get chosen, could we see stepping down and exiting? Yeah, I think, honestly, if it's one of them, whoever the other one does not get it, I'm for sure they would probably step down and go somewhere else, because I think that's their main goal, is to become CEO. Because I don't think they would be trying this hard, especially Josh. Like, he kind of came out of the woodwork where people were saying like, oh, could they go for Josh? But I think like when he knew that he could have the opportunity to go against Dana, that's when he was like putting out all the stops. You know, you're starting to see these projects being announced. You're starting to see these projects actually happening. You're starting to see things around the parks getting fixed, updated, refurbed. You know, that's not just a coincidence, unfortunately. Let's see, Dragon Blood. Let's see. Replying to Kevin, like, why I see personally it's movie of the year for me. It's mainly because I have an emotional connection to that franchise alongside Jurassic Park / World, Godzilla, and Disney villains. Referring to How to Train Your Dragon. Yeah. Which, as I said, for the land of Isle of Berk at Epic Universe, for me, I think is the best land as a whole.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Toothless was so cute too.
Yes. Dragon Blood. Avatar is also part of that equation for me too. Yeah, even for me, Dragon Blood, I actually agree. I know a lot of people don't care for the Avatar franchise, which I still am trying to do the math in my head, because by looking at the amount of money these movies make, I think people enjoy it not as a franchise, but just for the experience in the moment. Yeah. Like, you have like these diehard like Star Wars fans and Marvel fans and even Lord of the Ring fans. You know, like you have like the people who are like into the lore and cosplay and all that, where Avatar isn't there, but I think people just enjoy it's a James Cameron movie and he does kick-ass movies.
Because it makes money. So.
Yes. Epic Berserker. Mistake on Exabot. Josh, many replies are saying bad choice, saying Chapek 2.0, disappointed with pick, etc. I mean, I can understand their concern. I mean, especially Josh being a Parks person. Chapek was a Parks person. Again, Josh's record of not having things done. I mean, we're starting to see things move now, but are they only moving because
he's in the race?
He's in the race. So if he wasn't in the race, would things be getting done? So once he becomes CEO, that's a risk, and nothing against the guy personally, but we just don't know. Again, he could be, a wolf in sheep's clothing for all we know. We don't know until. So I could understand people's concerns. The thing that what Josh has going for him that Chapek didn't have was charisma of being a people person. He can work a crowd. Chapek just basically puts them to sleep. And again, nothing against him personally, but I even saw him when he was Parks chairman. I thought, this guy is horrible. Now, again, he got some things done, but it was just like when they said he was going to be CEO, I thought, oh, dear God, like, how is this going to be? Sure enough, we got it. Let's see. Where am I? Oh, this one. Dragon Blood. I don't understand fans for anything online at all. They can't pick a single lane. No, they cannot. Makes me wonder if all these people are man-childs and kids. A lot of times people online are. They sound very childish. Yeah, they definitely do. Epic Berserker. I saw Lilo live action on Saturday. It was good. I just didn't care for Jumba's voice. Yeah, I can understand it because what David Ogden Stiers did for the character, who he was the voice actor who did the voice of Jumba in the animated, he kind of gave him this kind of like Russian, Slovakian kind of accent like this, like it has like that Romanian kind of thing, where when you look at Jumba in the live action, it's Zach Galifianakis' voice coming out of him, essentially. It kind of like his balls didn't drop, so to speak. Sorry, Zach, but this is how it sounded. But overall, I love how they kind of... I'm not going to spoil that. I love the little twist they use for the character of Jumba. It's a little bit different from the animated. Not just talking about the voice, but when you go see it, you'll know. Let's see, Dragon Blood. Tomorrow, I know you're watching. I see you twirling your creative mustache. I'm for sure he is, because as I said, a lot of the stuff that I mention usually happens, so wouldn't surprise me. Epic Berserker, put it out in the Universe Italiano, bring Eisner back. I really wish... here's the thing about Michael Eisner. Yes, he made some poor, bad decisions moving closer to the end of his time as CEO, but nobody's perfect. You can't reach the top and always stay at the top. You make your falls and everything, and it was his time to go. But at the time that he was there, when he worked with Frank Wells, he brought back the Walt Disney Company from a possible takeover, breaking the company up into pieces, selling it off. Disney Animation was in the tubes. The parks were, yes, I get it, Disneyland Paris or Euro Disney. I get it. That wasn't like a hot take at the moment, but he still took risks. And I loved how he not only just interacted with the guests, but how he did the TV specials and everything, and how he would put on a T-shirt and a baseball cap and everything. Like that part of his image reminded me of Walt. When you'd see Walt in the park and he's eating popcorn, or he's, introducing like a new television show or what have you. So I enjoyed Eisner, and especially when he'd say like, hi, I'm Michael Eisner, CEO of the Walt Disney Company, and all that. Like when he promoted like the 80s and the 90s Disney Channel and everything, and that was awesome. Dragon Blood, and then for Soren, do a planes attraction.
Oh gosh.
Okay, so if we're gonna go down this rabbit hole, let's go down it. I mean, here's the thing. I didn't have a problem with the Planes films. Um,
when you watched them.
when I did watch them, yeah. But again, I don't know if Disney would utilize them just because they're not a hot take right now. But again, that doesn't mean that it won't work. Maybe if Disney did take that risk, maybe it would make them more popular. And they are considered the world of cars. And me personally, now, don't get on me, folks. Here, I'm just saying. How much further are we going to get with Soarin'? I get it. It's popular. I get it. But the tech behind it, the screens, the footage, it's old. I mean, I know they updated it like for the, Soaring Around the World and all that, but I don't know. It's kind of like a been there, done that kind of thing, And again, I know it's all for families and for the young kids, but again, it's Disney. Why is it always about the kids? Dragon Blood. I know Disney don't give a fuck about those grifters, and they know it big time. They'll do what they'll do. They don't care about constant complaining fans either. Yeah, here's the thing. When Disney sees their numbers of people going to see these movies in theaters, such as Lilo and Stitch, even Marvel's Thunderbolts, did decent. Which we saw both of those films on the cruise ship. Both very good movies. The numbers of how much people are spending in the park, they don't care. It is a small community. It's a small bubble. Disney is not going to pander to people, especially acting that way. But again, it's not changing their quota. When they see change in the numbers,
then they'll react
to it. But someone going online or going on YouTube and giving their thoughts and opinions, yeah, Disney listens to it. They listen to me, but yeah, that wouldn't change anything. Not unless there's a significant amount of like people that are like really like on it, such as, and I know this kind of sounds petty, like the noodles at Ohana. Like when the restaurant reopened from COVID, they substituted the noodles with rice, and people were, and I have to admit, I was one of those people. I was like, I did sign the petition for them to bring back the noodles. I love those noodles. I don't even know who even considered the fact of why they couldn't have them, but they brought them back, So that kind of small thing, I can understand. But like when it comes to major change or big projects, Disney's not going to listen to a small percentage of the community. Let's see. I better pack napkins before I step into the Isle of Burke. I'm going to cry of joy big time. Yeah, if you definitely have a connection deep like that with How to Train Your Dragon Blood, then yeah, you definitely will be in awe. I definitely will say. Giant Peter Show. I love Avatar. I have seen the original so many times. Yeah, I saw the original back when it was in theaters. I saw it in the real 3D and in IMAX. That ticket had it, I think, was like almost $30, but I thought, might as well, Let's see. My grandpa loves James Cameron films, Titanic and Avatar. He still owns his 2 Titanic VHS tapes. Yeah, James Cameron, I mean, the movies that he does, like, it's nothing short of like big in scope. As you had mentioned, Giant Peter Show, Titanic, Avatar, The Terminator, even a action comedy. For sure you all heard of it, True Lies, with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jamie Lee Curtis. Absolutely love that movie. Let's see. Oh, Dragon Blood, balls didn't drop. He's referring to Zach Galifianakis. Zach Galifianakis should have used a Greek accent. Yeah, I think that they should have like had him do like a little bit of a change up, but is what it is. See, Disneyland Paris is probably the most craziest zero to hero theme park story I have seen. Went from the most hated attraction in Europe to the number one attraction. Hey, I love a good underdog story. I love watching like a phoenix rise from the ashes, and Disneyland Paris is that for sure. Let's see. Soaring over California still has Staples Center in it. Oh! Still has Staples Center in it. Yeah, you can, as I said, you can tell how. Now, here's the thing: I do love the original Soaring over California, but I just wish that they can kind of update that. But yes, of course, don't touch OG's Orange Groves. No.
Yes.
He only lets a certain amount of people do that.
Touches Orange Groves?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm not one of them. I'm just saying. Let's see. Dragon Blood. I got to see Way of Water in IMAX 3D. That was something else. Yet Cameron gave us a little taste of it at the D23 before the movie was set to release in theaters. And I thought what was very smart of Cameron is that he re-released the original Avatar to kind of see where people's headspace is, because the sequel was so gapped. It was does people even really care? Yeah. And the movie went to number one at the box office when it was re-released, and it made even more money. And it was okay, well, apparently people still care. Dragon Blood. Can't wait to try Fire and Ash in 4DX. Yeah, I've seen the first two in theaters. I definitely want to see Fire and Ash in theaters. Definitely going to make it my business. And of course, would be doing a out of theater reaction that you'll see on Citrico Central. By the way, for all of you that have watched the premieres today, I know that you're probably thinking what the hell is he doing? He's premiering these little short segment videos. So yeah, being that we were enjoying the cruise and it was our R&R time to just enjoy it, I thought of recording certain moments of the cruise. But I didn't want to kind of mash it all up into one video where it didn't make sense. So I thought I'll just do little small releases. And I thought, being that they were small, I'll just release them all in one day, on the hour, every hour, on the day that we return, after I do the editing and everything. And that's what I did. So I hope you all enjoy it. And for all of you who didn't get a chance to watch them, definitely give them a try for sure. See, Dragon Blood. Aliens and the Avatar films have my favorite pieces of James Cameron's work. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Dragon Blood continues. Due to Cars Land looking great to me, I am more curious and excited for Villains Land. Disney, please do my attraction idea. You got the money. Yeah, I think we can kind of see the gist of where Cars Land is going and what their idea is. I think we got an overall aspect now of what it is. We still don't even know what the second attraction is going to be. It's going to be geared more towards the younger kids. I'm for sure it's going to be something like Luigi's or Mater's. So something like that, which is cool. I'm glad they're doing something for the kids, even though I wish that they wouldn't. But just kidding, folks. But what was I going with this? Oh, with Villains. That we don't know. And after seeing Villains Unfairly Ever After, there are moments, the design of the theater, inside, is cool. The way they start off, with the magic mirror singing, with the silhouettes of the villains, it's okay, I can see. Then they bring out Cruella and more so Captain Hook, and you lost me. It became this kind of gag, cartoony, and I don't know why Disney is leaning. I can maybe see Cruella, but Captain Hook, even as a face character, he's too slapsticky, as OG would say. Mm-hmm. He's too cartoony, as OG would say. You have to go for the nitty gritty villains. You have to use Maleficent. You have to use Jafar. You have to use Hades. You have to use Ursula. You got to use the darker tone villains.
Yeah.
Because Disney does have some obstacles, because you have to be able to do something where it's creepy, but not too creepy. And I expect Disney to do that. I don't expect them to go full Universal, because they're not Universal. Universal can get away with it. Disney cannot, especially in Magic Kingdom. They can't. They might be able to get away with it a little bit if they put it in Hollywood Studios, but it's not going there, folks. So I am very curious to know even the attractions. Like, obviously we know there's going to be a roller coaster and there's going to be a dark ride. And more so, the roller coaster is going to be based off of Maleficent. But the dark ride, is it going to infuse all the villains? Yeah, I'm curious. And again, this was actually OG's idea, so I'm going to repeat it. It's not my idea, but this was his, that he thinks that they're going to incorporate the magic mirror in with the land itself and possibly into the dark ride. Because I think the dark ride is going to be the Monsters Unchained to the roller coaster, like the Curse of the Werewolf. Mm-hmm. So I think the dark ride is going to be the signature attraction there. So the fact that maybe you can go through the magic mirror and it takes you to this alternate universe where the villains rule, you know, and like there, as Damaro said at D23, there is no happily ever afters. There is no hero coming saving the day. So where do you get that? You get that in an alternate universe, and maybe you get that going through the portal of the magic mirror. And maybe that was kind of the setup that Disney was trying to do with the show at Hollywood Studios. Now, again, it is a cute show. It's a short show just to kind of get you through the day. Obviously, it's not going to be there forever. I think more so Disney wanted a beta test to see how people feel about the villains in that space, you know. Let's see. Dragon Blood. I'm speculating the second attraction is a clone. Is something just like Mater's, but it sends the kids to the insane asylum. That would be funny as hell. I mean, no, that wouldn't be funny. Dragon Blood. Like for the villain's dark ride, I'm personally seeing something just like Peter Pan and Avengers, but on a scale that is insane to the point it could potentially put Monsters Unchained. I guess a run for their money. I think that's what you were trying to say, Dragon Blood. Yeah, they're going to have to update the tech immensely for Villains Land, especially since Villains Land's probably not going to open until I'd say like the back end of the 5 years, along with Pandora over at DCA, if we ever find out where the damn thing's going. But yeah, so by that time, there is already new tech being, researched and developed. They need to utilize it. They can't keep doing these repeats of like even what they're doing with the Avengers attraction. 3D glasses, really? Like literally over at Universal Hollywood, they have Transformers down for a lengthy refurbishment to get rid of the 3D glasses. You're not going to need 3D glasses for that ride anymore. Mm-hmm. But Disney is still incorporating 3D glasses of a ride that's been on again, off again since 2019. Like, come on. Like, I don't know. I still don't know. Like, I'll go on the ride. I'm very curious, but it's like, I'm like, so anytime someone mentions like the Avengers attractions, I'm like so over it. Like the hype is gone. It's like, kind of like getting just like it's like kind of like getting like sexually stimulated and you just let it sit there and don't do anything. Sooner or later it's gonna drop, and not in a good way, and you're gonna be left hanging, no pun intended. You just don't care anymore. Oh jeez. Let's see. Dragonblood, I could be going far, but maybe it's possible. Anything's possible. You never know. Giant Peter Show. George went on a cruise, and we still don't know where Avatar's going. Yeah, see, I actually thought that we would find out. I literally thought that I would get off the cruise. They would say where Avatar's going, where Coco's going. We find out more about Cars. But nothing with Avatar and Coco. I don't know what they're waiting for. Excuse me. Also, too, speaking of the Cars, they did. I mean, this is moving fast, like fast than I expected. Like the last day of Tom Sawyer Island is going to be July 6th. It'll officially be closed on July 7th. And also the Walt Disney World train will basically just have like a shuttle loop going back and forth between Storybook Circus and Main Street. It's not even going to go around the whole other section because they are going to have that whole thing blocked off, which is okay. I mean, because the Walt Disney World Railroad doesn't really have too much of a thrill anyway. And for all of you who do love the Walt Disney World Railroad, absolutely fine. But I guarantee you haven't been on Disneyland, then you'd think differently. Dragon Blood. Peter Pan at Tokyo Disney Sea uses 3D glasses, but there's also a 2D mode. Maybe Avengers will have a 2D mode. I don't know. It's possible. But again, we're just like moving forward with the MCU. You know, we're about to get into the good stuff with Fantastic Four and X-Men, you know, and then with Doomsday and Secret Wars. Like, who gives a shit about Thanos anymore? Like, even though that he came back from the multiverse as King Thanos, ooh, like, he's not relevant anymore. No one cares. I mean, I don't mean to sound rude or mean towards it. You know, I'm for sure, you know, the Imagineers who are working on it, you know, are working hard, you know, and not saying I don't want to put their work, you know, to you know, disregard or shame or anything, but it's like by the time we get this thing, it's like no one cares. We're all curious about like how Galactus is going to look on the big screen with Fantastic Four, and they're saying like this is like a real like true adaptation of that character, that they said it's like bringing like chills down people's spines. And then here comes big plump purple fucking King Thanos, and it's like, who cares? No one cares. But I'm not trying to insult, I'm just saying. Giant Peter Show. I still think they should have announced Tom Sawyer Island closing date in March. It's too close to the closing date from now. Yeah, I think the reason why they did that, Peter, was because even though, yes, it would give people time to maybe go and see it, but I think Disney is just really trying to rip the Band-Aid off quick. It's like announce it and do it, so it's not giving people time to think and stir the pot. And it's unfortunate that they have to go that route, but because people react a certain way, this is what they have to do. Yeah. Let's see. Dragon Blood. Watch until 2030. They announce where Avatar is going, and it won't open until 2070. Wow. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I mean, probably all the Avatar movies would be released by the time this thing goes in. Epic Berserker. I just want to see Doom walking around. I would like to see Doom, yeah, like maybe put in somewhere like in the campus, you know, maybe like for. I hope they bring back the little stunt show that they do up at the top, and I know that they stopped it because of the construction. So hopefully they do bring that back, and maybe they can incorporate something new and different with it. Let's see. Disneyland Forward is going to come, and we still won't know where Avatar is going. Did you see the Herbie robot video today on the Herbie robot? I don't know. I think I saw like a little piece of it. Did you see it at all?
No.
No. I don't think it was the full video, but I seen like a little snippet. See, I still can't believe Muppets is closing in 3 days. Dirt really is moving, to be honest, but we need our soil for Coco and Avatar. Yeah, Walt Disney World is moving. Like everything. Tropical Americas, Monsters Inc., now Cars, soon to be Villains. And everything's moving just like Josh promised, but I don't know why there's no move on
the Cali projects.
Yeah, I don't get it. Don't get it at all. Let's see, where am I? See, they had Kang as a walk-around character. Doom is definitely coming. Oh, yeah, they'll have him in some odd shape or form, definitely. Let's see. The Herbie robot video Scott Gustin posted. Yeah, I think that was the piece that I saw. I just didn't really fully read it. Let's see. You could still technically walk into the Tough to Be a Bug queue. Oh, that's interesting. Did not know that. Well, folks, it is coming up on an hour and almost 13 minutes, and it's getting kind of late, and we gotta try to get an early start tomorrow because Animal Kingdom opens early and is closing early, so we're going to try to get as much in. But I want to thank you all so much for joining this live. Yeah, we just wanted to kind of come back to you all after the cruise, kind of do a little recap, talk about the news, answer your questions, talk about everything as we always do. I love doing these lives with Abby and with you all. I definitely enjoy it. Giant Peter Show says, have a wild day tomorrow. Absolutely. Yes. And really quick, also, I want RDJ in that Doom costume at the campus. We'll have to see about that one. I don't know if maybe for a premiere kind of thing. They may do it like a one and done kind of thing. Who knows? See, have a good night, everyone. Yes, and before I go, I'm just going to do my quick little plug-in. I am an affiliate of the Magic Candle Company. If you are missing Disney and you can't get to the parks, Magic Candle Company got you covered. They have products that basically bring the sense of the Disney parks into your own living room. They have candles, they have sprays, they have air fresheners, they have soaps, anything that you'd like, you name it, they have it. Also, you can use my promo code Citrico15 upon checkout, and it's not just a one-time deal. You can use it as many times as you want. You'll get 15% off, and if you do, definitely let us know. Message us on Instagram, either under the Disney Italiano, my personal Instagram, Abby, which is Abby Clavacia, or you could message both of us. We both share the joint account for the Citrico Central Instagram, and we'll send you a Citrico Central keychain after you make the purchase as well. So just wanted to do that plug. Let's see. Giant Peter Show. Have a good night, George and Abby. Thank you so much. And again, as I always do, I'm just going to run through everyone that has joined. Epic Berserker, Giant Peter Show, Dragon Blood. Let me see. Matthew Murr. Kevin Davis. Lucas and Disney. Lucas, good luck on the Switch 2. I know you're out there in the field. And yeah, that is all. And again, thank you everyone so much. It means the world to us to, do these lives, create this content, interact with you as much as we possibly can. Again, we're going to try to do another live tomorrow at Animal Kingdom. No promises, but definitely keep an eye out. And how you can do that, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And as I always say in Disney Italiano fashion, stay safe, stay healthy, stay Disney. Italiano